Welcome to the birthday special Fight of the Fallen. I finally found a name for this because I wasn't sure I was going to do this because I just botched 2 more or 3 more videos trying to do this one. Yes, this is the birthday special. Today is my birthday. 51 years old today. With all that has been going on in the last year, that has been hard on me. This was kind of like also hard because I wouldn't think I'm an old man. I'm not saying I look young, but damn it. I want to be older. Okay, let's get away from the birthday crap and let's get into this show. Was this show good? Yeah, it was good, and it's leading into All Out in September. The first match, and I gotta admit, when I heard Justin Roberts say the interim, I'm going like, what the hell's the interim? Because since Mox, and let me give it to you like this, knowing Mox is an interim champion makes me think he's something else other than a damn champion. He does address that after the match is over. He goes up against Roosh. And after we saw Roosh deal with Dragon Lee, his younger brother, where I said clearly the match quality was fine, but there was nothing there to make them feel like they were brothers at all. Look, as I've said in that Death Before Dishonor review, they needed more. Anyone said that match was just perfect as it was, they were dumb. They needed to feel like they were fucking brothers, and they didn't feel like they were brothers. They felt like they were Lucha Libre wrestlers, period. They didn't feel like they were actual brothers. Not one bit. They didn't need to talk. They just needed to give expression like they were. So we see Roosh here. Was it a good match? It was fine. Roosh is not a bad wrestler at all. Now, Moxley did get busted open. And in the end, I didn't expect Mox to lose. But I was surprised to see the Jericho Appreciation Society come out with Anna Jay, and I forgot that new guy's name. I don't know who that new guy is, but you see Sammy and Ty there. It's good to see that, yes, it's not great to see that Anna Jay's in another faction, but now she's in a new faction with her new persona as a heel now. She need to be a heel. She need to be a heel where she can expand herself out. Now, did her a tiny little segment, was it good? No. She was trying way too hard to sell that she's different and she's going to take anybody else to town and whoop their ass. She tried way too hard. I didn't think that was good. Now, she could have been going for that, and maybe that's what she was doing. Me personally, seeing how Anna Jay has been over the years, she doesn't need to try too hard, but maybe her character does do that right now on purpose. It's kind of hard to tell because it's the first time I'm seeing her use her new heel character, and I'm not sure if that was actually done on purpose or she was trying a bit too hard. So now Chris wants a shot at that interim title, and Mox made it very clear this is not an interim title, this is a world title, because Chris himself said, I am going to be now a 2-time champion, a true 2-time champion, and Mox says, I don't give a fuck anybody in the back, I am a true 2-time champ, and if I'm going to be facing you, I want to face not the champion Chris Jericho, not the demigod Chris Jericho, not the wizard Chris Jericho, not anyone else, the Painmaker. I want Lionheart Chris Jericho, the one that I saw tapes on back in the day. I want Lionheart. And I'm going, you're not getting Lionheart. Look, we all love Chris Jericho. But there is no way on this green earth Chris Jericho, who looks bigger than he originally was when he was Lionheart, who was faster back then than he was when he was Lionheart, and is now 51, nearing 52 years old, a Chris Jericho. You ain't getting that. He'll come close to it. Here's 100%. Here's Chris. Somewhere around 50 to 60%. That is where he is now. Let's make this clear. Chris is not like he is totally done. He's 66, and maybe 65% of his maximum of what he used to be when he was a younger wrestler. He just can't become 100%. He just can't. He's about 65% of what he once was, which is not a bad thing. It's over 50, and easily he can still go when the character is done correctly. But seeing how Lionheart used to be, I don't think he's going to be able to play it off very well. So this is going to be interesting. Now, let me also add in that we did say, I know I can talk about the Lucha Brothers coming out along with Andrade, but really they weren't really important. They were just afterthoughts. That's what they felt. Now, at Fight of the Fallen, we had the FTW title match between Danhausen and Ricky Starks. There was no real hardness with it, except that Ricky looked like he might have hurt his neck, where that could be one of two things. Because at first I thought, oh damn, Ricky might have hurt himself. But then what you heard afterward, because once he beat Danhausen and he was holding his neck, he said, look y'all, I've done it once, I'm going to do it again, and I mean it this time. I want a real challenge. And then Hook. What did I say about Hook? I knew eventually Hook had to go for that damn title. Didn't I say that? I haven't heard no one talk about Hook going after his dad's title. I think I'm one of the few people who have. I think I'm one of the few people who had talked about Hook going after that title. I would have liked to see Jungle Boy get that title and then Hook try to get it back. Or Christian or somebody else who was a heel trying to get that damn title away from him with his dad by his side. That's what I really wanted. I wanted legacy for Taz and legacy for Hook. Taz should have came out with Hook, but he didn't. Hook came out on his own, wanted that damn title, and it was not a very long match. And in the end, you get a tap out from Ricky Starks, and Hook now won the title, and Taz was tinkle pink, man. You could hear how excited he was. I'm sure he knew he was going to drop the title to his son. But to be honest, even though he was so happy, why wasn't he at ringside? I'm sorry. He should have been at ringside with Hook. Yes, I know that Hook wants to do things on his own. He wants to be his own man. He doesn't want his dad tagging along and being his manager. I understand that. But in this situation, when Hook won that damn title, he should have walked over to the commentary table where his dad was, walked over to him, and gave him a fucking hug. And I think that would have been way more greater than anything else that would have been there. Because yes, the crowd was cheering for Hook. They loved him winning that damn title, and he deserved it at this point. Because they have sponsored him well enough. He has gotten over enough, no matter if you like him or not. But why didn't he go over to the commentary table? Why didn't he walk up to his dad, show it to him, and his dad gave him a hug? That might not be what Hook likes, but in this situation, it should have happened. It didn't happen, and it felt lacking in a certain way. Doesn't mean it was bad. But the ending was lacking, even though it was right for him to win that title, because there was nobody else who should have claimed it. Now, this is where it gets interesting. After it was over, Starks had an interview by Tony. Tony asked, so how do you feel about doing this? He said, well, I couldn't keep it. But you know what? I want to make it very clear. When I got that damn title, they said it was going to be a noose around my neck and I made it into a tie. I made sure that people understood that I made the title, not the title made me. I made that damn title relevant, brought it to prominence. I made it work. And even though, and this is where it comes into Powerhouse Hobbs, once he said, and everyone kept saying I had a string of bad luck, I said, no, it's just bad timing. And Hobbs just did not like that. For some reason, he didn't like about the bad timing, and he cold cocked him from behind the head, and he whooped his ass. So either this Rampage or this Dynamite, Hobbs is going to have to explain himself, because that's what this is going to come down to. Since Team Taz under the Zix, give me a minute. Since Team Taz does not exist, it's been almost, 6 to 8 months since it's been done, because no one talks about them being in Team Taz. Not at all. You've been wondering what they're going to do with Hobbs, what are you going to do with Starks. Pretty much Starks, at this point, has now just turned face. By his attitude, saying that he brought that title to prominence, that means he just went. The switch went off, he became a face automatically. He was a heel before, now he's a face. And that's the reason why he had the neck problem. He wanted to gain sympathy as a face. He wanted people to understand that he's willing to challenge people even if he's hurt. He takes them seriously. So that's what we got. Next, we had, I don't know, 2-on-1 handicap match with Smart Mark Sterling, Tony Nese, and Swerve Strickland. And this is all stemming off of that damn petition to get Swerve taken off the show. Guys, I don't know where they were coming from when it came to that petition. It felt really half cocked. It didn't really feel like anything. Since they probably did all of their work on not on Dynamite, not on Dark. Well, sorry. This is where I'm getting frustrated. This is where I think this is just stupid. You basically had Swerve Strickland beat both of them like they were nothing. And anyone's going to say, oh, Swerve looked fine. He had to work hard. No, he didn't. He was barely selling to Tony Nese. And this was all about Swerve getting over on both of them. As I said before, Swerve is a great talker. He's got a great look. He is charismatic. But when it comes to his ring work, he only knows how to get himself over. And I felt nothing for Tony Nese. And Smart Mark was an afterthought. Of course, he's not supposed to get over. He's not. But I just felt like, what do you need to do with Swerve? Swerve just cannot get it done to make the match balanced. I thought maybe he just doesn't know how to do it. But I guess he doesn't really care how to do it. That's me. I'm telling you right now, that's me. I just don't think he cares about making sure the other person gets over as much as him. That's what I think it is. And that's not saying that he's a bad guy in real life. He's probably a cool guy who actually cares about people. But when it comes to going in that ring, he's first and foremost. And majority of the time, he will not sell. He will not look good. And then, once we saw, what was the guy's name? Woods? Josh Woods basically attacked Keith Lee. And then Nese, what was it? Was it Nese that attacked him afterwards? I think it was Tony Nese that attacked him after that and laid him out. Once Josh Woods just totally destroys Keith Lee because he wasn't watching behind his back. He was watching his TV show of Dynamite. He was watching the screen, watching everybody else. Pretty much, you're going to have a tag match between Nese and Woods versus Swerve and the Keith Lee. I don't doubt there's going to be a match. It's going to happen either this Rampage or next Dynamite. That's just me. Now, Thunder Rosa versus Yumashi. I believe that's her name. What is it? Yumoshiki. That might be a name. Yurimoshi. I am so bad with names. Was this a good match for the women's title? No. Something was off. You saw a lot of slipping from Yumoshi. I believe that's her name. You saw some botches from Thunder Rosa. This match did not look good. I think maybe Hiroshi, that might be her name, had jet lag. She was not good. She looked sloppy as hell. There is a time difference. I don't even think she had enough time to rest. If she only just flew in that day, not everyone can work well with jet lag. And she looked bad. Even some of the fans were not totally into that match. Not until near the end, when it began to pick up, at least when the sloppiness started to get a little less. And in the end, Thunder Rosa wins. But then, what was that? What was that? Everyone says the women's division for AEW is great. What the fuck happens with the Japanese women? What the fuck is going on with them? I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'm angry. They will not treat these Japanese female wrestlers correctly. And if anybody says, well, Japanese culture is different, fucking bullshit. They have storylines in their own country no different than here. They actually drag them out way longer than American storylines, and they try to make sure it's done. At least it's subtle, let's be honest. Japanese storylines might be more subtle than American ones because we're more into the pantomime, making it more elaborate than it needs to be. But at least they show it. What the fuck is going on with these women and men that don't get nothing? Nothing. That's bullshit. If anybody says they look great, that everything's No. Look what happened with Hiro Kushida. She had to bust her ass over and over again. It was Selena Deeps had to force her, well, mainly Selena Deeps being booked very well, and that they had to be forced to make Hiro Kushida look at least decently good, because she didn't look good at all. Needed it real. That's bullshit. Now, what we have with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and this is where I know I botched earlier, but I was thinking about doing this part then, and I got to do it now. I don't want to forget it. Guys, what did I tell you about Luchasaurus? If they were doing it right, Luchasaurus could have actually been something. But they seem to, I don't know what it is with AEW, that they seem to be so ineptly stupid that they don't know how to book their men that are big. You're telling me, after all this time, that you were willing to let Luchasaurus go off on his own, where people really wanted him to see, wanted them to see. Calm down. Don't be angry. This is your birthday. Calm. For weeks, we see Luchasaurus destroying people, and people were liking it. Or people were booing it because that means it was getting over. Then you bring Jungle Boy back. And instead of having Jungle Boy get destroyed by Luchasaurus here, or Luchasaurus back there, at least if Luchasaurus had to destroy him, this would have been the best time. Still betraying him where he should have been betrayed. This would have gotten Jungle Boy over more and Luchasaurus more over. No, Luchasaurus falls right in line with Jungle Boy. And did Jungle Boy sound good? Yes, he sounded fine, making it very clear, I don't give a damn what you think about me, but don't try and mess with my family. That's what he was trying to imply. And then seeing that Christian signed off on dealing with his divorce publicly because he let Jungle Boy talk about it, because Jungle Boy wouldn't have been able to talk about that. Not unless he was willing to go to, let's say Christian goes to Jungle Boy and says, look, right now I'm going for a nasty divorce. Add it to your promo. Because that's the only way you could have done it. So it was fine. But then you see Christian, after the promo was nearly over, and when Jungle Boy was talking about burying his dad with his uncle, he's talking about, I didn't want to. The reason I ran wasn't because I was scared of you. I was scared of what I was going to do to you. You're going to see what's going to happen. And he talks about the betrayal of Luchasaurus, which this made no fucking sense for Luchasaurus. I am so fucking angry that they got something Luchasaurus. But instead of them either just leave him off TV until Jungle Boy comes back, or let him do some random matches on Dark and Elevation, and you never need to worry about it, you basically make Luchasaurus look dominant as a heel, that people actually wanted to see something interesting with him, and then you flip it right back within a few weeks, under a month, into a face. Unless he is really going to destroy Jungle Boy, and this is just setting up to, and I'm hoping that this is still a setup, that in the end, when Jungle Boy finally confronts Christian and gets him into a corner, and he thinks Luchasaurus has his back, he takes his head off. He does what the fucking Powerhouse Hobb did to Ricky Starks and took his fucking head off. If he does not do that, when this situation comes to a head, when he's got Christian cornered, and that's Jungle Boy, either in a match or in the back, and Luchasaurus does not annihilate him, I promise you, I will rant my ass off about how stupid AEW is, that they had some Luchasaurus and they just threw it away. That's the truth. Now, we're getting a tournament. The trios titles have finally emerged. Thank you. The 6-man tag titles, that's what it was called. I thought it was a 3-man tag. I guess I was tired because I was. 6-man tag titles for ROH. Now, you don't have to worry about them because now we got the trios tournament coming up. That will probably culminate going into All Out. Good. Finally, we've been waiting at least a year and a half for those trios titles. Or at least a year. I say a year to maybe a year and a half. People expected the trios titles to come, and now they're coming. Whoever wins them is going to be interesting. And then you get the Bucks kind of approaching a Hangman Page. That's what I'm thinking. That's what we got. Let me see, what else am I forgetting here? Sammy Guevara versus a Dante Martin. Now, I know I did talk about Chris Jericho. He was not at ringside, but when you saw Dante Martin versus Sammy Guevara, this is what I got to tell you. You know me, I like a balanced match. I don't mind high flying. I don't mind hard ground and pound. I don't mind psychology in the ring. Sometimes when you do only high flying, it sucks because a lot of the high flyers do not understand the one important thing. You need to make it mean something. Just going from spot to spot to spot means fucking nothing. This match was actually quite good because there was attitude thrown into it. They did not rush into every move all the time. You saw a huge amount of attitude from Sammy Guevara, who had this woman by his side. You saw a little bit of Dante Martin trying to copy a little bit of Sammy Guevara. Now, I'm not saying it was great copying of what Sammy was doing compared to a Dante Martin, but at least they didn't rush every single time when they did their match. They seemed to at least understand that you don't rush every spot. You let the crowd soak it in to at least most of those spots. Because usually what I see this all the time. When it comes to high flyers, they'll go from spot to spot to spot to spot. Then they stop. They wait for an applause. Spot to spot to spot to spot. Stop. Then they try to do pinfalls and pinfalls and pinfalls and then spot and pinfalls and spot until the match is over. Here, we got a spot. Then we got some attitude from Sammy Guevara. Then we got a spot. And then we saw a little bit attitude from Dante Martin mocking a Sammy Guevara. Then you got Sammy Guevara having a bit of an attitude once he throws him out. And that's Dante Martin. He gets angry and he's not rushing back in immediately. Then you get another spot where you see that Dante gets over on Sammy, and then Sammy decides, you know what, screw this, I'm going home. I'm taking my piece of ass, my Takanchi, and I'm walking away, and then you get Dante Martin bringing him back. And then you keep going from there back to the way they normally do it, like spot to spot to spot. And then they slow down a little bit, and then spot again, near fall, spot and spot, until finally you see Sammy win. That is a good example of a high-flying match that actually had some freaking psychology in it. You must understand, you don't do spots every single moment of the damn match. That doesn't make it special. If anyone is an ROH mark, you care about pure wrestling, then that's not real wrestling. That's not real pro freaking wrestling. A true pro wrestler in the old eras and in the current eras must understand psychology of the fan, psychology of the damn match. If you cannot slow down at one point or another to give people a chance to soak in what you just did, is that really wrestling? Or is that you being a stupid idiot jumping around inside a ring and not getting anything done? You want to call me an old man? Freaking do it. But at least I understand when they do it right. You heard how loud those people were when they saw what they did about their attitudes, and they waited a little bit and they talked a little bit of a story. Not even a huge one either. They made it mean something. Now, here's another story, which is the last match of the night. We got Bryan Danielson versus Garcia. Now, supposedly the story was about Bryan Danielson coming back maybe too soon, and that's what Chris Jericho was trying to sell. And they were trying to get I forgot what his name, I can't remember Garcia's first name. I always seem to forget it. But I think it's Bryan Garcia. But pretty much, this match was to get his ass over. This match was to make sure that he can be the next generation of technical pro wrestler. Bryan Danielson was trying to whoop his ass, but then he seemed to act like he got concussed again. Or hurt again. Doesn't matter. And he got cut in the head, or actually cut here in the face. And the story was simply, I seem to be hurt, but I gotta work through it. And they didn't say he's the ultimate underdog like in WWE. They just showed that he came back from being injured, and that maybe he might have been doing it too soon, but even not correctly soon enough, too early enough. Let me give it to you like this. Cena Garcia made Bryan Danielson pass out due to the fact Jake Hager grabs his leg while at the very end of the match, and he had Garcia on the ropes. good. It showed that he didn't win clean, Garcia, but it did show that Garcia was technical enough that even with a weakened and somewhat interfered with Bryan Danielson, he can still get him into a choke and knock him, well, basically pass his ass out. Was that a good match? Yes, it was very technical. It was well done. They did a lot of chain wrestling with a lot of counters. I really did enjoy it. There was no problem with it. It's like what happened with Dante Martin and Sammy Guevara. We had two Spanish flies, standing Spanish flies, which was pretty good. And actually, I had a problem trying to say Spanish flies. I don't know why. I was thinking about it. I couldn't remember how to, some reason, when you're dyslexic, sometimes, even though your brain works well, some things don't always click. And no matter how hard you try, you can't get it out. But anyway, it was a good match. Was this a good show? It wasn't bad. I'm not saying it was great, but it was a good, solid show with some good stuff in it that is building into All Out. But you wonder what's going to happen with Luchasaurus. Because, I'm being honest here, Luchasaurus is money. If they do not make him destroy a Jungle Boy, when Jungle Boy finally corners a Christian, either in a match or in the back or whatever, if he does not lay his ass out, I give my word to you, I will rant, and a lot of people who understood this entire situation like myself will be angry at AEW for giving us that moment where Luchasaurus looked like they could do something with him where we want it, and then not only they take it away, they made it be irrelevant. People will get angry. I'm telling you right now. And if anybody says there's a story connected to it, bull fucking shit. There's no story if Luchasaurus does not stay a heel. But it's just me. Peace.